These are the most expensive mansions on the planet, the kind that only real billionaires can buy, and not even all of them, because there are rich people who would not have enough even if you tripled their net worth. Yes, some of these houses are already on the level for trillionaires. Welcome to the channel for the richest people.
Luxury life.
Billionaire, the one, Bruce Makowski's mansion. We start with Billionaire, the project of developer Bruce Makowski. In 2017, he wanted to buy the old property of the legendary Judy Garland for about $8 million. It does not sound that crazy, but wait, now it gets really interesting. With ambitions on the level of an Earth mega magnate, he designed what he called Billionaire, a house of 38,000 square feet, stretched over 4 levels, in an ultra-modern style, as expensive, luxurious as possible, with zero compromises. He added 12 bedrooms, including 2 primary suites and 21 bathrooms. And all of this is not just a regular renovation, but a showcase of luxury, finishes from rare materials, including 50 types of Italian marble. In terms of what it offers, this is not a house, it is an entire private world. Inside, 3 kitchens, 3 dining rooms, 5 bars, a cinema library, and a gym with a spa. And the entertainment zone is literally like something out of a movie, a 4-lane bowling alley, a gorgeous James Bond-style movie theater for 40 people, glass billiard tables, candy vending machines, elevators lined with crocodile leather, and staircases made of polished steel that cost a hefty sum. And that is not all. Outside there is a deck of 17,000 square feet, an infinity pool with a bar right in the water, a helipad with a replica of the Airwolf helicopter, and a garage gallery with cars worth about $30 million. There was a Pagani Huayra and a 1936 Mercedes-Benz priced at more than $15 million. Plus, sculptures worth millions, contemporary art, and even moving images of the 7 dwarfs valued at $200,000. At first, this mansion was listed for $250 million, and at that moment, it was the most expensive property in all of the United States. But time went by, there were no buyers for that amount, and they had to cut the price. First to $150 million, and after a few years, the house was eventually sold for about $95 million. The amount is still cosmic, but nowhere near what they were asking at the beginning. Versailles, a mega residence in Florida that was never finished. Next comes the legendary Versailles, a gigantic residence in Florida inspired by the French palace and envisioned by David Siegel, the founder of the West Cay Resort Vacation Complex. Versailles is a private home that, by its scale, practically should not exist at all. It was designed at around 90,000 square feet. The idea was simple: to create their own version of Versailles from France in Florida. Construction started in 2004 inside the gated community of Lake Buller Sound in Windermere, Orange County, Florida. The goal was to become the largest private home in the United States. The architecture literally screams royal level. Columns, huge halls, wide inner courtyards, decorative elements, as if this is not a house but a palace where a reception with an orchestra and ball gowns is about to begin. But then, a harsh twist hit. In 2009, construction suddenly stopped because of financial problems at the company. At that moment, they had completed about 60%, and since then, the future of this place has turned into a constant source of rumors, an unfinished monument that seems frozen in time. No one names an official final price, but with such dimensions, materials, and level of finishes, it is clearly a multi-million project. Most likely, it could be above $140 million. And in essence, the value of Versailles is not only in the walls, it is the idea to bring a monumental copy of European luxury to Florida. The project is so grand that it ended up stuck halfway and became at the same time a symbol of ambition and a warning that sometimes the scale is bigger than the financial reality. Imagine this: you walk along enormous, almost finished corridors past the columns, step into halls that were supposed to be gigantic, see imported marble and decorated ceilings, and all around there is the feeling that everything was stopped in the middle of the scene. The building stands majestic and empty, the framework of palace life that never became real, and even the unfinished details still evoke a sense of royal eras. Only instead of music, you get silence and incompleteness, like a metaphor for excess without control. Elite enclaves, Dater Bay, Peak, Jordan's Lookout. Now we move not to one specific house, but to entire elite zones where the price tag itself sounds like pure fiction. Some mansions in these places are sold for amounts that make you feel like this is the price of a small country. For example, in deep Whiter Bay Rock, one residence was sold for $420 million. These locations are valued not only for the sea or city panoramas. Here people buy seclusion, security, everything for our own circle atmosphere, and construction at the level of the most expensive materials in the world. Some houses there reach 20,000 square feet, and prices can exceed $25,000 per square foot. Among the owners are loud names. Such homes have been linked with billionaires of the level of Jake Ma and magnates like Payne Sutong, whose properties have appeared in lists of the most expensive assets ever recorded. Imagine driving up to a house on a hill by the sea. Maximum security, automatic gates, a panorama of the horizon. Inside, imported marble, designer wood paneling, private elevators, smart systems, huge rooms, offices with into infinity views, multi-level private gardens and infinity pools that make the picture perfect. And it is not only about the square footage or the address. Here, luxury is in the details pushed to the limit. Absolute privacy, technology a step ahead of its time, carefully curated art, and rare materials that you normally only see in truly elite collections. A mansion by the sea on Saad Island, Abu Dhabi. Next is a real demonstration of what ultra-luxury looks like in the Persian Gulf. On Saad Island in Abu Dhabi, there is a mansion with 8 bedrooms that in the year 2025 became the most expensive home ever sold in Abu Dhabi at that moment. The deal was for $109 million. The overall area is 6,560 square meters, including both the building and private land plots. In terms of features, this is not just a rich person's house. It is a personal resort, private galleries for cars, a home golf simulator, a private movie theater, wellness and fitness zones, direct access to a private beach, and panoramic views of the Persian Gulf. A house like this is not a place to just live. It is a sanctuary for relaxation, technology, and maximum comfort, where everything is tailored to the expectations of the ultra-elite. Imagine waking up to the sound of waves. Sea air flows in through floor-to-ceiling windows. You walk to your theater for a morning screening, then to the golf simulator while the sun is rising. In the gallery stand collectible cars worth millions. By evening, there's the spa and the gym waiting for you like a private club. And then you call your friends, and you all step out onto your private strip of beach, where it feels like the rest of the world is somewhere very far away. And the craziest part is that this is only one piece of a huge luxury race. Because in the region, the luxury market is growing insanely fast. In Dubai, for example, some residences reach $200 million. And in certain lists, Marbi Palace in Emirates Hills appears as one of the most expensive properties in the city. In Jumeirah Bay Island, they offer a villa under the Bulgari brand for about $134,000, with 20,000 square feet, Hermes level finishes, a private movie theater, and a pool with sound under the water. And in districts like Ajishimiya, they are developing artificial islands, including the so-called Billionaires Island, where individual mansions can exceed 100 million euros. These numbers show one thing: Abu Dhabi and Dubai right now are competing as global centers of luxury, and they are building homes not just as housing, but as symbols of status, power, and absolute expensiveness. Yusaku Maezawa's residence, the most expensive in Japan, Tokyo, Asabudai Hills. Now to Japan, and this is the case where expensive sounds modest until you say the figure. The cost of this purchase is estimated at around 30 billion yen. That is about $225 million. And the main place in the home is not the bedroom and not the pool. It is a living room of 170 square meters that has been turned into a private museum. Designer furniture, rare objects, collections that people usually only see in private galleries. There are legendary pieces there. For example, the polar bear sofa by Jean Royer in red alpaca wool. It has been valued at about 500 million yen, plus pieces by Jean Prouvé and Pierre Jeanneret. This is the level where it's not just furniture, but status written into the history of design. The walls are a separate attraction. Exclusive art, original works by Picasso, Calder, and even pieces by contemporary artists like Albero and Lina. You're not simply hanging a painting. You're assembling a small museum that's worth as much as a neighborhood of real estate. The Asabudai Hills complex, where the residence is located, is a symbol of Tokyo's vertical luxury. The main tower, Mori JP Tower, includes floors reserved for the elite. It's known that some apartments there reach almost 20 billion yen for a single unit. And just so you understand that this is not a one-off story, the high-end housing market in Japan is full of records. For example, Marco Tasando Onan, a luxury penthouse in Harajuku. One apartment was sold there for almost 10 billion yen, about $67 million. And it was one of the highest price levels per tsubo, the traditional Japanese unit of area. There are also rumors of even more expensive condominiums in Tokyo, which can cost more than 5 billion yen, around $36 million, with private pools and panoramic views. And yes, in that reality, a penthouse is not housing. It's a showcase of your weight in the world. Tarpon Island, the most expensive island in Palm Beach. 2024. Next comes the United States, Palm Beach, and a story where the purchase sounds like a plotline, a private island. In the year 2024, they closed a deal to sell Tarpon Island, a private island in Florida, for $152 million. For Palm Beach, this was a record among residential properties. The island is accessible via a private bridge and also by water, by boat. And inside it is not one house, but an entire estate. More than 2,800 square meters of living space, including a 2-story main mansion, guest houses, and service buildings. In terms of amenities, it is a full dream list. An office, a gym right by the water, a spa, lighted tennis courts, entertainment rooms, wine cellars, an elevator, and 2 private docks. Picture the scene. You drive in over the bridge, water all around. You step into the hall and immediately see panoramic views, as if you are in an expensive commercial. On one side, there is a lit tennis court. On the other, there is a pool catching reflections. Every zone seems to say, everything here is built so that no one bothers you. Larry Ellison's Island, almost 98% of a Hawaiian island. Now we move to a level that sounds almost unreal, owning not a home, but practically an entire island. Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison owns almost 98% of a Hawaiian island, with an area of about 90,000 acres. He bought it in the year 2012 for roughly $300 million. And he did not just own it and relax there. Over time, he has invested more than $450 million to turn the island into a project focused on sustainability, infrastructure development, eco-friendly solutions, organic farming, and everything that makes the territory not only beautiful, but also working. The state of Mahahual, Nicaragua, the most expensive listing in the country. We switch to Central America, Nicaragua, and this is where it gets truly unexpected. On the southwestern coast of the country, between the so-called Emerald Coast and the fishing town of San Juan del Sur, there is a private property that literally raises the bar of luxury in the entire region. The land area is about 110 acres, and this place set a record. It was listed for approximately $31 million as the most expensive house ever put on the market in the country. The territory is a huge coastal strip with roughly 1,775 feet of shoreline, right in front of 2 private white sand beaches. Ocean views, direct access to the water, and the feeling that you have cut off a piece of the world and kept it for yourself. Inside, there is a main residence of about 1,580 square meters, plus a guest house with 5 bedrooms and several additional casitas scattered around the property. In real life, it looks like this. A palm-lined road leads to a private gate, then the path descends toward the beach. You walk in and immediately hear the ocean. The wind mixes with the silence, and it feels as if all the noise of the planet has been turned off. The main house stands solid. The windows are huge. The rooms seem to be connected with the horizon. You step onto the terrace, sand under your feet, salty air, and you understand why places like this are called not houses, but sanctuaries. Each little house on the property is its own small world. Seclusion, tropical gardens, spaces for rest and contemplation. The landscape is beaches, cliffs, coastal forests. This is not just expensive, it is a rarity that is almost impossible to replicate. Casa Abril, a palace outside Buenos Aires, Argentina. We keep going, now to South America, where we find a property with the atmosphere of true old aristocracy. Not far from Buenos Aires stands Casa Abril, a mansion conceived back in 1932 by the Pereira Iriola family together with architect José Almondo. It was built on a huge parcel, more than 7 acres, approximately 45 minutes from the city. This is truly a palacete, a small-scale palace surrounded by gardens designed by Hernán Bautric. The floor area is more than 46,000 square feet. Inside there are 9 bedrooms, 5 full bathrooms, 2 half bathrooms, plus the service wing, another 9 bedrooms for staff. The interiors are the classic look of a luxurious past. Marble fireplaces with detailed carving, antique stained glass, wrought iron balconies, and ornaments in a style that is almost never created today because it is too time-consuming and too expensive. The gardens are a separate point of pride. Different zones and styles, all arranged so that the surroundings do not just complement the house, but make it even more monumental. In the mid-2010s, Casa Abril was valued in the millions of dollars, and that figure reflected not only its size, but also its status as a historical rarity. Today, it is still a private property, and such assets almost never appear on the market. In the world of Latin American luxury, this is a true historic jewel. Jardim Pernambuco, the most expensive sale in Brazil, Rio, year 2024. Now to Brazil, and a record that was set very recently. In July of the year 2024, a mansion in the elite neighborhood of Jardim Pernambuco in Rio de Janeiro changed hands for 220 million reals. That is about $40 million. It is called the most expensive home deal ever completed in Brazil. The buyer was the construction company Muzak. Their plan is ambitious, to create an ultra-luxury residential project on this site. The mansion's area is around 2,700 square meters, which for a private urban home is truly monumental. Inside there are 8 spacious suites and 10 bathrooms so that every space has its own level of privacy. There is a home cinema and a garage for 16 cars. And one special feature, a helipad certified by the National Aviation Agency, meaning you can fly directly to the house officially. From the terraces there are views over Rio, the city panorama, Rodrigo de Freitas Lagoon, and even the famous Christ the Redeemer statue. Muzak plans to preserve the mansion as the center of the future project and add another 10 ultra-exclusive houses. If everything is realized, the total potential of the complex may rise to about 500 million reals. That is almost $100 million. Villa 14, the Pearl of the Cliff in Riviera Nayarit, Mexico, one and only Mandarina. The final block is Mexico, and a home that looks like a palace glued to the ocean. In the exclusive one and only Mandarina resort on the Pacific coast in Riviera Nayarit stands Villa 14, a private residence with dramatic views and direct neighbors of jungle and sea. It practically sits on a coastal cliff, maximum privacy, endless horizons, and the feeling that you are above the world. On the market, it has been listed at around $32 million, which is why it is considered one of the most expensive private properties ever offered in Nayarit. Its architecture is a blend of tent-style chic and modern design. Several levels connected by staircases that seem to float in the air, huge terraces and spaces that flow directly into the natural landscape. The finishes are unashamed luxury, marble, tropical wood, giant panoramic windows, an infinity pool, and details designed for a life of ultra-luxury and silence. Imagine the scene. You walk up a path through jungle greenery and step out onto a terrace hanging over the cliff. Below, the sea crashes against the rocks. The wind moves the leaves. You go inside. The marble under your feet is cool. The air is clean. The windows are like living paintings of the horizon. The pool seems to merge with the ocean, and you really catch that feeling. There is no show-off here. There is a state of calm that costs insane money. And it matters that Villa 14 is not the only expensive house in the country, but it is definitely in the top tier for Nayarit. For comparison, in Cabo San Lucas, there are mansions like Villa Celeste, about $14 million for 15,000 square feet, 7 bedrooms, and an infinity pool in the Pedregal area. And in other elite spots, for example in Riviera Maya, there are properties like Rancho Paraíso Oasis, a complex of residences in the jungle that has been listed at approximately $14 million. This is why $32 million for Villa 14 is perceived as a special league. It is the price for a unique location, the level of service of the resort, and a package of amenities that you simply do not find in the ordinary world. Okay, that is it, fam. These were the most expensive mansions of the day. Homes that look not like housing, but like proof that money can create a separate reality. Be sure to write your opinion about these houses in the comments, and see you in the next episode on the channel for the richest people. Thank you for watching.